I was just 20 years old at the time, diligently working at a Chinese food place nestled within the confines of the mall. Now, if you've ever wondered about the clandestine connections in a mall's food court, let me take you behind the scenes. A long hallway, accessible only to mall employees, winds its way behind the various restaurants, creating an eerily solitary atmosphere. This corridor, concealed from public view, became the backdrop for the unsettling events that unfolded. Picture this: the hustle and bustle of mall-goers, the aroma of different cuisines wafting through the air, and the clandestine passage connecting the eateries. The protagonist of our tale is a cook in a Chinese restaurant, a character I'll pseudonymously refer to as Greg. Greg, a Chinese gentleman in his 60s, possessed a unique trait: he spoke only Mandarin, not a word of my native Spanish or English. Yet, his culinary prowess transcended linguistic barriers. He could decipher Spanish words related to rice, noodles, chicken, and other items, enabling him to respond to our calls from the kitchen. Despite the language barrier, Greg exuded a warm and friendly demeanor. From the moment I joined the workforce, I observed his jovial nature, punctuated by the playful noises he made when delivering food to the front. His quirky antics never failed to elicit laughter from my female colleagues, establishing him as a seemingly harmless and amicable figure. Over time, as I transitioned from being the new girl to an established team member, Greg's comfort around me grew. He even developed a whimsical tradition of making beep-beep noises, requesting me to step aside as he approached. A comical gesture that, at the time, I found endearing, just like my other co-workers. Several months into the job, during which I had become familiar with every staff member, Greg included, the unforeseen unfolded. I would exchange waves and smiles with Greg, just as I did with everyone else. Then came the day that shattered the facade of normalcy, a day that made me question my perception of Greg's harmless demeanor. Returning from my break, I traversed the employee-only corridor, engulfed in the distant sounds of co-workers within their respective restaurants. The hallway, usually devoid of human presence, felt eerily silent. Approaching my workplace, I encountered Greg emerging from his break. His customary smile greeted me, and in his characteristic thick accent he uttered my name. Obligingly, I reciprocated with a smile. What happened next, however, plunged me into a chilling confrontation. Greg stood in front of the entrance to my job, his smile unwavering. Before I could comprehend, he extended his arms, silently signaling for a hug. Having witnessed him hug other girls before, I deemed it innocuous and embraced the gesture. Little did I anticipate the shift in dynamics. As the seconds ticked away, the hug lingered, growing uncomfortably prolonged. My impending shift and escalating unease prompted me to signal my need to depart. Here, the narrative took a nightmarish turn. My attempt to break free was met with resistance. Greg, to my horror, tightened his grip, refusing to release me. Panic set in. In my futile efforts to extricate myself, Greg's intent became clearer. He sought to kiss me. Unable to communicate verbally, I grappled with the realization that he wouldn't let go until his unwarranted advances were reciprocated. Stunned, my mind raced, searching for an escape strategy. The urgency heightened as his attempts to kiss me persisted, relentlessly following the contours of my head. With each passing moment, I grappled with fear and desperation. I locked eyes with him in a last-ditch effort, conveying my discomfort and resistance. In a calculated move, I feigned acquiescence, allowing him to lean in. However, in the final moments, I diverted my head, redirecting his intended kiss to my cheek. It was a small victory, tainted by the sensation of his lips grazing the corner of my mouth. As he finally released his grip, A triumphant grin adorned his face. He patted my shoulder, leaving me shaken and disgusted. The aftermath revealed the toll the ordeal had taken on me, pale as paper, arms trembling uncontrollably. Yet, I chose silence, avoiding reporting the incident to my boss or confiding in coworkers. Fear of repercussions and a misguided sense of loyalty clouded my judgment. However, my interactions with Greg were forever altered. I steered clear of him, never treating him the same, adopting a cautious stance. The kitchen and the hallway became realms to be navigated with extreme caution. Eventually, I quit the job, severing ties with the unsettling environment. Rumors later circulated that Greg, too, had left not long after my departure. The chapter closed, but the echoes of that disturbing encounter lingered, etching a chilling tale of workplace horror that haunted my memories. The highly anticipated moment arrived as tickets for my favorite group, BTS, went on sale. Acquiring these tickets was a challenging ordeal, and possessing a good laptop and reliable Wi-Fi became crucial to securing the coveted seats. Unfortunately, my university's Wi-Fi was far from dependable, prompting me to embark on a quest to test various Wi-Fi spots at fast food joints. The university was conveniently situated within walking distance of numerous restaurants and fast food establishments, with even more options just a short drive or bus ride away. One of the first places on my list for Wi-Fi testing was McDonald's, a mere 5-minute drive from the university. Accompanied by my boyfriend, we entered the familiar Golden Arches, armed with my laptop, iPad, and phone. The enticing aroma of McDonald's fries compelled us to order a snack as we set up our tech. Seated at our chosen table, we found ourselves in the company of a group of elderly gentlemen, their weathered faces suggesting that death might be knocking on their doors soon. Oblivious to our technological endeavors, they chuckled amongst themselves, paying little attention to the digital world we were immersing ourselves in. However, the atmosphere took an unexpected turn when one of the old gentlemen decided to engage us in conversation. Playfully, he commented on the absurdity of doing homework on a weekend, a sentiment that resonated with the collective disdain for weekend studies. Awkward laughter ensued, and we attempted to resume our activities. Yet, to our surprise, the old man persisted in his attempts to interact with us. Unperturbed by our apparent busyness, he continued with jokes and remarks, focusing notably on me rather than my boyfriend. My discomfort grew as the conversation delved into more personal territory, questions about my school and age, and even compliments about my appearance. While his friends offered sporadic laughter and half-hearted attempts to steer him away, I felt increasingly uneasy. The older man's comments extended to observations about my relationship with my boyfriend, veering into a strange territory where he suggested being an alternative should I ever grow weary of my current partner. The uncomfortable laughter and his unsettling proposal lingered, creating a palpable tension in the air. As the minutes passed, my boyfriend left momentarily, and the situation took a darker turn. The old man, apparently unfazed by his friend's protests, decided to hover near my table. Spotting my university ID, picked it up, offering unsolicited remarks about my appearance in the photo and how I looked even more stunning in person. His friends, now somewhat exasperated, urged him to leave me alone, but his persistence escalated. With a light squeeze on my shoulder, he continued his unwarranted attention, making comments that veered uncomfortably towards inappropriate. My internal discomfort reached its peak as I desperately wished for my boyfriend's swift return. The ordeal finally concluded when my boyfriend reappeared, relieving me of the palpable tension. The old man, with a parting comment, finally retreated to rejoin his friends. Though I was well aware that we were in a public place and the risk of physical harm was minimal, the lingering sense of unease haunted me. As they departed, I exhaled, grateful for my boyfriend's return, yet forever haunted by the unsettling encounter at McDonald's. My boyfriend settled back into his seat, oblivious to the unsettling encounter I had just endured. As I tried to regain composure, I couldn't shake the feeling of the old man's lingering presence, his comments echoing in my mind like a haunting refrain. We attempted to resume our focus on the BTS ticket sale, but the atmosphere in McDonald's had taken on a surreal, almost eerie quality. Minutes turned to an eternity, each passing second amplifying my unease. The old man and his companions continued their animated conversation, occasionally glancing in our direction. Despite my boyfriend's attempts to lighten the mood, my mind remained preoccupied with the recent encounter. The laughter and camaraderie of the fast food joint now felt like a facade, concealing an undercurrent of discomfort that lingered beneath the surface. The Wi-Fi speed test, once the primary mission, became an afterthought as my attention wavered. I couldn't help but wonder if the old man and his friends were still watching, hidden behind their seemingly innocuous chatter. The familiar scent of McDonald's fries, once inviting, now seemed to taunt me, a reminder of the vulnerability I had experienced in the presence of a stranger. As we packed up our belongings, preparing to leave the fast food establishment, I couldn't shake the eerie feeling that we were being watched. The old man's parting words echoed in my ears, and the image of his hand on my shoulder haunted my thoughts. We made our way to the exit, the door chime providing a dissonant soundtrack to the tension that lingered in the air. Stepping out into the cool night, I felt a mixture of relief and lingering unease. The parking lot, once an ordinary space, now felt like a threshold between the unsettling encounter and the semblance of normalcy beyond. We hurried to our car, casting occasional glances over our shoulders, half expecting to see the old man's presence still lingering. As we drove away from McDonald's, the glow of the golden arches gradually dimmed in the rearview mirror. I couldn't shake the feeling that the encounter had left an indelible mark on the night. The pursuit of BTS tickets, once a joyful anticipation, now carried the weight of an unsettling experience that had unfolded within the innocuous confines of a fast food joint. The glow of streetlights flickered ominously as we navigated the quiet streets. My boyfriend attempted to lighten the mood, cracking jokes and steering the conversation toward lighter topics. Yet, the residue of the encounter lingered, casting a shadow over our evening. The sense of vulnerability, the awareness that the ordinary could quickly morph into the extraordinary, clung to the air like an intangible fog. Arriving home, I found solace in the familiarity of my surroundings. Yet, as I settled into the comforting embrace of my living room, the encounter at McDonald's continued to replay in my mind. The laughter, the unwarranted attention. As the night wore on, I couldn't escape the sense that the old man's words had left an indelible imprint on the fabric of my reality. Little did I know that the shadows of that night would continue to dance at the periphery of my consciousness, casting an enduring chill over the days to come. The pursuit of BTS tickets, once a thrilling endeavor, now bore the weight of an unexpected and perhaps supernatural encounter that defied the boundaries of ordinary human interaction. The fast food joint had become a nexus of the extraordinary, forever altering the trajectory of a seemingly routine night. Living in Colorado for the past 2 years, I, a 16-year-old male, recently secured my first job at a fast food chain known for mimicking Mexican cuisine. This particular establishment, owned by my AP American history teacher, hides unsettling secrets beneath its seemingly ordinary foyer. Despite the subpar pay and less than pristine conditions, my part-time work routine is tolerable. However, the atmosphere turned dark with the arrival of a new employee, Emir. Emir, a squat Hispanic man, joined our diverse team in the economically depressed area. His appearance was beyond unpleasant. A thick mustache adorned with bits of food debris, an unshaven face with what seemed like misplaced pubic hair, and unkempt, greasy hair that collected a substance I named hair cheese. Working alongside him became a challenge, as his hygiene left much to be desired, constantly emanating a nauseating scent of testicle musk. Despite his feeble attempts with perfume and deodorant, the stench persisted, enveloping him in an unsettling aura of ball rot. Initially assigned to backstock duties due to his repulsive hygiene, Emir eventually found his way to the prep stations, where his strange behavior escalated. Bizarre conversations ensued, often involving inappropriate topics and intrusive questions, such as my underwear size. His disruptive presence, coupled with odd antics like consuming shredded cheese and thawed meat straight from the floor, led to constant discomfort. One particularly disturbing incident occurred during a slow morning. Emir approached me, giggling like a child, holding an unrolled condom. He expressed his desire to put it on one of the tacos I was preparing. Disturbed and angry, I sought the assistance of our shift manager, James. However, the lack of evidence hindered any immediate action. As time passed, Emir's behavior grew increasingly bizarre and sexual. From unwarranted compliments to intrusive actions like sniffing my hair, he crossed boundaries regularly. Complaints to James and the overall manager seemed to fall on deaf ears, as the unsettling scenarios he concocted during his relentless advances became more graphic and disturbing. One day, pushed beyond my limits, I confronted Emir, demanding he stay away. Unfazed, he persisted and even resorted to sending numerous friend requests on social media after finding me on Facebook. The situation reached its climax when James discovered Emir engaging in inappropriate activities with himself in the supply closet. The revelation led to Emir's termination, providing a brief sense of relief. However, the eerie feeling lingered as I wondered how deep the darkness within that seemingly ordinary fast food chain truly ran.